Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. As always, I have to say that everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. With that being said, first thing I want to do is send out our heartfelt condolences and sympathies to George Floyd and his family and friends. Very sorry about the sad death that overtook Mr. Floyd. It was horrible. The whole thing is just shocking. Okay, it's shocking. Then I want to go on to talk about the person that's been charged with murdering Mr. Floyd, Derek Chauvin. As far as I'm concerned, he's a psycho killer cop. Okay, bottom line, I think he's sadistic. I think he's just a sadistic individual. You got to understand that bad applies to a whole lot of different careers. Okay, and when we talk about, okay, he was a bad cop, that's for sure, as far as I'm concerned. But I got to tell you, the vast majority of law enforcement that I've worked with and I know of are really good cops, really good people. They really are passionate about their jobs, and they truly care about people. Okay? I'm not saying there's some bad apples that have to be weeded out, but there is in every career. Let's take a look at Harold Shipman. Harold Shipman's an MD. He's a psycho doctor. He's dead now. He was over in England. And it looks like he killed 250 people or more. Some of them say it's over 1,000 people that he killed. But he's a psycho killer doctor, MD. Then we have to take a look at Charles Cullen. Charles Cullen, serial killer nurse from New Jersey. He got convicted on 22 murders. At his arraignment, I think he confessed to 40 right off the hop. Some people believe, and I know a lot of people who work the case in Jersey, that, it could be as high as 200. He was passed from hospital to hospital for years. So he's a serial killer nurse. He had a career as a nurse. Then we have Colonel Russell Williams. It's a real piece of work. Psycho killer, serial killer, and rapist. And he was a colonel of a base with the Canadian Air Force. Yeah, he was a commander of the base, of an Air Force base up in Canada. Even, flew the Queen around one or two times. Okay? So then we also have Henry Louis Wallace. He's a serial killer from North Carolina. He's a DJ serial killer. Honorable discharge from the Navy. Looking like every kind of guy next door. And it turns out he was a serial killer as well. Psycho killer. Then we have to turn around and we have to take a look at Dr. Swango. Dr. Swango is a U.S. doctor, MD, psycho killer. So see, it doesn't matter what career we're looking at. We've got bad apples in these careers. They're always around in every different career. Dr. Swango was a psycho killer. They got him on 3 murders. They think there's a 4th. But the bottom line is, from all his travels, they're thinking it's more like 60. But of course, they can't prove it. We'll even go back to the 1800s. And we'll take a look at Amelia Dyer. Amelia Dyer, serial killer, psycho killer nurse. She was baby farming. You know what baby farming is? Back then, when people had babies and they didn't want them, there were certain people that would take care of the babies for the city or the state for a fee. So she would take in these babies, get paid, and then she would kill them and get rid of them. For sure, she was confirmed of 6 murders, but they're thinking more like in the hundreds, because she went on for years and years and years with this baby farming, taking these babies in that weren't wanted, and then they would disappear. It's terrible. Another nurse, okay? How can you relate the career to the psycho killer? It's unbelievable how these psychos end up in these different careers. Then we've got John Wayne Gacy, a businessman and politician psycho killer. They know he was convicted of 33 murders, but they think there's a lot more out there. He liked to play Pogo the Clown at the hospital. He has had a number of photo shoots with Mrs. Carter, Jimmy Carter, ex-president of the United States, his wife. And bottom line is that, well, I guess I shouldn't say ex-president, because when you're president, you're always president, I guess, at some point. You're just president, I guess, in retirement. But he killed 33 young men. But liked to show up at the hospital, and play Pogo the Clown. He got a lot of political credit for that. The last but not least, we have Charles Manson. Charles Manson is a psycho cult killer. I call him a psycho killer by proxy because he didn't do all the spree murders by himself. He sent his people from his cult out to do the killings. But the one thing I want you to understand about Charles Manson Manson's prophecy was called kind of Helter Skelter. He put it together after the Beatles came out with the song. But Charles Manson's prophecy back in the late 1960s was there was going to be a race war between white and African Americans. And they were going to fight and kill each other off. While that was going on, he was taking his people, his cult, out to the desert. And they were going to go down into a deep hole in the desert. When the fighting was over with, he felt he was going to come back and take control of whoever survived the race war. Now, he prophesied this in the late 1960s. I am asking you, let us not let this man's prophecy come true. We don't want him to be the greatest prophet ever. There's not much else I can say is, together we're strong and we can do a lot. But take a look at what happens when we're divided. And you have other countries out there that would like nothing more than to see us divided, right? With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all your subscriptions. Appreciate all your comments and info. Please take care of yourselves, stay safe, and make it a great day. Thank you.